Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Weekly Profit Talk. As the name would suggest, we do this every single week, and we do it on Wednesday at 8:30 a.m. Mountain Time. That is 7:30 if you're on the West Coast, 10:30 on the East Coast. Good morning, happy Wednesday, everybody. This week's topic is top 3 financial tools every doctor should use to save time and money. And let's go ahead and we'll just launch right into this, why don't we? Um, the first of those 3 tools are budgeting apps. And by this, I mean that there are let me see, here we go. Um, with the advent of software and, of course, artificial intelligence and everything, there are all kinds of very good tools out there, um, which are taking the place of old dinosaur tools. Let me mention real quick that a lot of people have heard of Mint, which was a free software provided by Intuit, the nice folks that bring you TurboTax, as well as QuickBooks Online. And that's been around for years, but they just decided to quit doing it. And they replaced it with something called Quicken, which I think Quicken was around for some time, but they realized that they weren't making money off of it. And so they just kind of quit providing it. It was a pretty decent tool, but honestly, there are better ones. For a little bit of money, um, the one that I like the most is called Monarch. What this will do is it allows you to attach or connect every single one of the accounts that you have in your life, your business checking and savings, as well as credit cards, as well as all of your personal, and that includes your investments. Okay, so as well as all of your loans. If you're able to see your entire financial picture in one place, um, it's like being able to read the scoreboard at a basketball game and understand what's going on. You've got so many timeouts left. There's so many fouls. The other team's up by 8 points. You've got 2.5 minutes left to go. What do you do? What do you do? Well, at least if you can see the scoreboard, you have an idea what you have to do to make up that 8 point deficit and possibly even put yourself in position for overtime or to win the game. And it's the same thing with your life. You wouldn't walk up on a patient and basically guess their vital signs. You have to take certain measurements, get blood pressure and pulse ox and all those good things. And it's the same thing with your money. You really need to know what's going on at all times. And this is something, particularly if you're married. I like Monarch because I happen to be married myself, and it works very well for joint accounts and basically attaching all of the things that make up the financial tools of your life. When you have all that together in one place, you're actually able to see your net worth on a day by day basis. And that's just simply a function of your assets minus your liabilities. So in business, we call that equity, but your net worth is basically how much are you worth? Wealthy people actually measure their wealth by net worth as opposed to salary. So it's important to know this. And I've also put down retirement net worth here. This is something I do for myself. I can see the various components of net worth, which is assets, liabilities, investments, cash, those sort of things. If you add your investments plus your cash together and subtract, you can leave out your credit card debt because that's something you're going to be paying down monthly. That is assuming that you're making your statement balance payments every month and not paying interest. If you have a credit card and you're paying interest on a monthly basis, you're leveraging very high interest debt, and you need to stop that. So as a physician, you need to put yourself in the cash position to pay down your credit card debt to the point where you're able to make statement balance payments, i.e., let's say you've got a $6,000 balance on your card and the statement balance, I beg your pardon, excuse me, was $4,200 for the previous month. Make that $4,200 payment. Don't pay any interest. Credit cards are actually a fabulous tool that will save you money because You can delay payment on things legally for about 4 to 5 weeks. You put down the credit card and then you make the statement balance payment later, right? So that's one thing. But the other thing that's important is that most of these cards, if used properly and you shop for them well, we'll also have some kind of a rewards program, and those rewards are not taxable, by the way. So that's one thing the Internal Revenue hasn't got themselves in the middle of quite yet. Thank goodness. So credit cards are a good tool when used properly. So we got off on a little tangent there. If you add the investments and the cash portions of your net worth report in Barnard together and subtract your long-term liabilities, you'll end up with a number. If you multiply that number by 4%, picture yourself living on that number for the year. Let's just say, for example, that you come up with $500,000 after, and that's light, but let's say that you're new in your or you're still young in your investment journey, and you're still working toward your retirement. Let's say you're in your late 30s, early 40s, something like that, and $500,000 is your number. If you multiply that by 4%, you're going to come up with $20,000. Let me see if that's right. I'm sorry, math in the head. So 500,000 times 4 is 2 million, and then knock off 2 zeros. $20,000 a year to live on. Is that enough? Probably not. But tracking this on a daily or semi-daily basis, you can see the value in that. Knowing the score is amazing. So I kind of sat on that subject for quite a while. Number 2, investment accounts. That kind of feeds right in off of number 1. You are basically at some point in your future going to not want to work any longer, or not work as hard at least. But one of the things I daydream about is actually staying involved in my business because I love what I do, but dramatically reducing my hours and basically training a apprentice / mini-me, as it were, to more or less take over the major parts of the business and be able to travel more or do other things. I happen to enjoy playing music, but I also have a little bit of a writing aspiration. And this might be the same for you. You might want to dramatically reduce your footprint in your business, but still be able to enjoy your life. And investment accounts are going to be the way you do that. I'm a huge fan of Roth because you do not know what the tax code's going to be. Let's say, again, you're in your early 40s and your retirement's 25 years away. Do you have any idea what the tax brackets are going to be then? They might be back up to 50% or more. You have no idea. But Roth is your hedge against that because you're basically putting after-tax dollars into it. And when you withdraw that money, when you qualify for it, it's tax-free. Now, hopefully, they don't change the tax code to such a dramatic effect that that's going to change. But Roth is extremely popular, and I think would start a revolution. So I believe that it's a pretty safe bet, even with the current volatility in the market. Understand that over a 90-year period, there are going to be dips, but it generally increases, and the average is about 9% per year, with many years quite a bit more. We enjoyed a period of growth following the Inflation Reduction Act of 2021, and depending on which news programs you follow, you're going to have different opinions about this. But basically, the S&P continued to grow up until recently. This dip is, I don't feel any different from the sort of thing that happened back in 2008 during the ninja loan recession, and also COVID in 2020 tested the market. It always comes back because people are going to consume. It's the American pastime, consumption. So S&P 500 is basically the top 500 or 510 companies, just depending how many they've let on there. And it's stuff that people buy. Walmart, Google, Facebook, all the big ones. Yeah, ExxonMobil. So For example, uh, S&P 500 index funds that I mentioned down there at the bottom, that is basically if you've got a heart and a mind to self-administer or get a good financial advisor, if you have any questions at all, I would get a registered independent advisor, honestly, because they are not allowed to sell any products, and you're going to get a much better unbiased opinion if you do that sort of thing. So, but index funds are a great way to go because they take very low maintenance, and you just basically sit and hopefully over time your money will grow. I'm invested in that. I'm watching it go down this last month or so. I watch the news same as everybody else. It's not time to panic yet, folks. The market has dips. They call them corrections. So in any event, when you get to a point where, and there are backdoor ways to contribute to Roth, even if you do make the over 210,000 or whatever the ceiling is. And I don't know the number exactly, simply because it changes every year. They inflation adjust it, but there's a certain point of your income over past which your ordinary investments to Roth IRAs are no longer eligible, but you can get around that with backdoor methods, and we can certainly help you with that if you're interested. But there are also ways to invest if you are the sole owner of your practice, 100% owner. Many of my clients are. And you can contribute as both the employee and the employer of your practice. On the employer side, up to 25% of what you take in reasonable compensation, you can set that aside. Plus, I think 2025 is $23,500 that you can contribute as an employee. It's considerably more if you're over 50. I think it's 31,000. And that plus the 25%, the max is about $69,000 or $70,000 a year. As you can see, that's about 10 times what you can do with an IRA. So you definitely want to explore that. And if you are saving money, your practice is affluent enough where you're able to put away even more, then look to taxable options. Just go ahead and put the, like in the regular index funds for a traditional IRA. It will be taxable at the back end, but if you max out your non-taxable Roth investments, I promise that you're going to have a much more wonderful and productive retirement. So last thing, a business tool that a doctor should be using in this day and age is business advisory services. This is basically what I refer to. People ask me what I do, and I've kind of always waffled on kind of a long answer, but really the best answer I have is fractional CFO. Somebody can ask for an explanation of what that means, but basically, if you think about it, it just means that I'm acting as a part-time chief financial officer for many companies. This gives me the ability to be able to provide those services to people at a fraction of the cost of them actually putting a CFO on the staff of their firm. And they get a level of services that goes beyond the mere reading of financial statements and compliance with tax code. You want to plan for taxes. You want to make good annualized, which means accurate based on performance, estimated tax payments in the 4 quarters. This is the entrepreneur's withholding, and estimated taxes need to be taken seriously. It's not that difficult to do if you've got the right help. But beyond that, business advisory services can also do quite a bit more for you. If you have scenario-based projections that you'd like, for example, I was talking about hiring a mini-me for my own firm. If you're in that mindset and you're thinking about bringing somebody on, well, you have to think about how much are you going to have to pay this physician. He or she is probably going to want the market rate and be looking for certain benefits as well. A business advisory and the kind of work that we do here, we're actually able to plug in those numbers as a future scenario and additionally plug in the sort of numbers that you can expect to increase revenue by, and actually micro forecast specific scenarios and look into the future, as it were, about whether or not these decisions are good and exactly how much that'll affect your cash remaining after all expenses. So this is the part of the scoreboard that a lot of let's say we go back to that basketball scoreboard. I think there's a couple three numbers in the center bottom that don't make a lot of sense to me because I'm not a basketball coach. But this is the important part that will actually elevate and scale your wealth beyond the ability to do so by just looking at how you did last month on your profit and loss statement and your cash flows. So basically, to wrap up on that, business advisory services are the answer to, well, why can't my accountant be more proactive? This is the proactive services you dream of. It is an investment. All good things with a return have some sort of investment, but it's definitely one of the most important tools that you can put in your toolbox to increase your wealth and basically accelerate that retirement. So with that, if you have any questions about anything at all, we're coming to you live on all three media here, being YouTube, Facebook, as well as LinkedIn. Every one of those has some sort of a comment section. And if you like, pop a question in there, or you can write to Eric at owingsllc.com. I am in my computer every single day. So if you would like to learn more about business advisory services, certainly do leave a comment, write us a note, or you can go to owingsllc.com and click the Work With Me link, and that will take you to where you can just go ahead and make an appointment. First time discovery call, we refer to it as, is always free. So if you have questions about how we can accelerate your wealth, let us know. So hopefully you found this helpful or at least entertaining. And if you'd like to learn more, we are here every single Wednesday at 8:30 a.m. Mountain Time. So come and join us again next week. And until next week, have a great day. And if you have a chance, do something randomly kind for a stranger. So until then, so long, and we'll see you